Hello, folks. Good evening. I know I said I'd do a video about, some thoughts on the markets. It's taken me some time, but here we are. So let's dig in. This is S&P, and we did a high of 46.34, and 46.25 was a good resistance, in terms of the move. And since then, we have been pulling back. And then now we have this structure where it matches with that 4489. And let's say, it holds here and it goes back and retests that 45, 23, 57 or higher, somewhere here. And then it wants to fail, then, maybe you want the structure to break and come down, fill this gap. And then your 4225 was your breakout point, and XPX has gap all the way till 4225. So this matches with, that. So in case if the price fails here and wants to test back down the breakout point, this is where we expect it to land. And that will take care of your August, September, the slow months. September is a quad witching, and it could be powerful because it's normally a year end. I know December is the year end, but generally, a lot of companies may take care of their books in September because the last quarter is mostly a holiday quarter, and, people go out on vacations and everything else. So, September can be a very powerful quad witching mostly. And we may see things settling, pulling backs and settling around there, and in order to give us a Santa rally. That has been the traditional way of looking at things. But over the years, we have gotten some very bad opposite of Santa rallies. So, those are the things you just keep in mind, how August and September are going in. And if at all we come down here, then in my opinion, that would be a good way, because it will take care of all the XPX gaps, and then it will be a clean path. The one thing which I wanted to talk about is, this was a fresh supply, this small head, which we can see in all the indices and a lot of stocks and everything else. So we have generally, kind of stopping at the base of this head or somewhere in between. So ES had done approximately halfway between its kind of an upper end of the head to lower end of the head. So it did approximately halfway, and it wants to pull back. And then it has this structure here to support it. And then it has this whole big structure. One of the reason, in my opinion, it took so long for it to break out is it built a lot of demand here. Just like it built a lot of supply here, it built a lot of demand here. So if price, let's say, comes back down here, that would be a buy point, in my opinion, because this is a good demand structure. And then from here, the price could go back and, retest the high or make a brand new high. So there are two ways to look at things. One is, this will give a better picture. We have a sharp V rally on a monthly basis. So this was a straight run up, then pull back, and then now we are going up. So two things. This was just a retracement to offset the pressure, from the straight line. So this is your offloading of pressure, and then this is a bull flag, and it wants to break out from here. The target on S&P is 7,569. 7,500, where is it? 7,569, approximately 76 here, right here. So one is the most optimistic sunshiny path is, it is a breakout bull flag, and it targets that cycle directly. Of course, in some staircase basis, not a straight line, though straight line is, we do have experience in that. So it could do that. Or the midpoint, which is the tricky point, is it goes and makes a new high around 5,051.85. 51.85 is the half cycle. It goes there and craps back and breaks this low and come down. Or the worst case scenario is this area is the top area. It doesn't take out the all-time high, and this is an A, B, C structure pointing to downside from all the way from top of 2020 to mid and the lower bottom of it. So when we are in the middle of the things, it may not be clear to what path it may take, but only thing we can do right here is follow the price action and see what it wants to do in terms of level where it is going. The way ES has ran up, it has a good possibility till 4225 area, and that will still be bullish in the structure that it is testing back the breakouts and holds. Then we have these two possibilities of one tricky path and one the proper bullish path. Third worst case scenario, we know, price wants to break here and it'll start testing below here, and then we can get some indications, okay, this was an ABC and it wants to come down below. Then look for all your, world events happening around you. The macro may be back, the Fed may be back, your war may be back, China may be back, Russia may be back, and, COVID may be back, or brand new something may be back, not back, something new may come. So those are the things to watch out for. One of the things I was looking at was, SNES. I had posted this picture since we had fallen off this structure, and somewhere here I had posted this solid black line. And then a few weeks ago, I extended this, and now it is at this structure, and it failed right here. So this was kind of a, when we said, okay, it wants to, fall, and this would be a final test. If it is a retracement, so this area would be a good thing to look for any kind of pullback. So right now, we are in a normal pullback until that normal pullback fails after test, retest. There is no way of saying whether, this would be a bearish ABC. Now, very early on, if you go and watch my other YouTube videos, I had created these three boxes: aqua box, this yellow box, and then this blue box. So price is sitting in between these three boxes. So, as long as it is in this box, you know what to expect of it. And once it falls off that yellow box, then you know what to expect of it. Now it has entered the yellow box, then you have quite a bit of possibilities of, falling down to, earlier 4400s to 43, 57, all that. And then lower end of the box is 42, early 4225, that zone. So this box was your, above this blue box was your breakout box in the yellow box. And then that's how, I'm still looking at things. So it's a clear indication in your head where price is. One of the things which I had put out a trivia is, I'd asked this question on tweet also, and asked you guys to post why this was a rushed job, why price went very fast when it was just being sideways for a very long time. So in my opinion, what has happened here is, it took a lot of time to break out of here. And look on the other side, it is opposite of this structure, or rather, this mountain was first formed and this valley was formed later on. So it's kind of a replica of that. So once price wants to go above this, then there are two ways to go. One would be slow structure exactly like this, replicating here, up, sideways, sideways, up, sideways, sideways, up, sideways. So it'll take a lot of time in order to cross this big hurdle. Another path would be that you're walking happily, nicely, and then you see a lion in front of you, and then for a few seconds you freeze, and then you run for your life because there is a lion, there is a danger, and you run. So that's exactly what S&P did here. It chose the second path. It saw a lion here and it just ran all the way till here directly. So this is one of the ways you can do when you are into a big supply zone where walking up is a very tedious business. One of the things you could do is run a fast. One of the things which I do is the things which I don't like to eat, I eat them first and I eat it fast so that it gets over. So this is exactly the same thing which happened here. Now it's at a good black solid resistance here. Test, retest will decide if it wants to go up here and then have a new all-time high. One other optimistic possibility is look at this structure. It has spent a lot of time here. So if price comes back and tests this area back again, this is a good bouncy cushion. It will let it bounce. And there should be a reason why it took so much time here. There should be a reason why it spent so much time in this area, did all this for this many weeks. So this gives a good probability that after testing this zone anywhere here, it doesn't have to come all the way down, anywhere here, and it goes back, crosses this black line and maybe goes above this to all the way to 5,051.85. Only because the structure is placed like this, I'm thinking that could be a probability. Okay, so we will not know if the failure is negative side unless price is breaking lower. So all this structure is there to hold us for maybe quite some time before it makes a decision. So it took almost 2 years from here to here, to retest the price. So there is no hurry as such for it to do anything immediately. So don't expect anything to happen very fast. There is, if it wants, it can just waste time, and frustrate us. Just exactly, it frustrated us here. So keep those things in mind, don't be impatient. If nothing is happening yet, nothing happening here is a good sign rather than, breaking down or anything. Let's look at NQ. NQ is also the same way, V-shaped, almost at its head here. It tested almost in between of this head and, trying to fail. Lot of support structure for it below, and it could test those and hold. See how fast NQ was once it started out from this. Once it entered this blue box, how fast it ran out. So it created this small structure, but technically on this side, there was not much heaviness, which we saw in ES. That much heaviness is not here. That's why NQ is a little bit more cleaner than, the S&P. Dung, all green candles. And now, this line, it falls here. Then, that you have some retest here on top of, and then on top of this box, and, what it wants to do. So again, A, B, C, down, A, B, extended C, then down, or it's a happy path. The high was 16,700 something. So, it could do a new high to around 17, 18,000 and then fail. Otherwise, a new breakout would have a target of 20 to 25,000. That's a good possibility of it. YM, the Dow, is again the same structure. So Dow, see, it consolidated here a lot. On a monthly basis, it did that. So this is another, I'm taking it as a clue. Okay, I will not say it's an indication, but I'll take it as a clue that if Dow wants to fall, it has a good support structure right here. And it also tested almost the all-time high. This is 36,800 or 36,800 was the all-time high, and it made 35,843. So approximately 1,000 points remaining to all-time high. And this is a good structure. It has made 34,400-ish, 500-ish to, if it wants to pull back, and from there it holds. So in my opinion, Dow has a YM, as it is always a leading indicator for me, at least. Cycle wise, it is the first one to fall back. It is the first one to pick up as well. If that is the case, then watch YM should be the one making a new all-time high first. If that's the case, then the others will follow. And RTY, this is lagging. Okay, this is lagging by a lot. So currently it is above this dotted lines, and in this congestion zone, going around here, testing, retesting 19, mid 1900s to 2000, it crosses this area. Then it has till 2100. And this forms the base of this structure. And once it enters this structure, you have a possibility of all this. See, all these spikes, it has gone down, created a demand, and got bought up. These are all spikes. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it testing 2200 and higher. This went till 2300. I think target was 24 something. 24 something, approximately 2500, which it didn't do. Oh, the high was 2460, so it almost did it. So then again the same thing. What it does here, wants to fail here, go here. But if all the three indices are doing okay, then chances are this may also get pulled up. Apple, the most talked about right now in the street. Everyone is like, Apple is going here, Apple is going here. Someone is saying going to 400. Someone is saying it's going to die down. This report, that report, all that is noise right now. Why? Because Apple has a, oh my God, I did so much complication here unnecessarily. Okay, this is clean. So if at all, so Apple went here, consolidated, breakout, big consolidation, then breakout. Now it is reversing back, and chances are it may test this, what do you call this? Tangent line. A possibility, but on a weekly basis, it may have more structure. The only thing is it did a straight line. Now, Apple has a tendency to run for few weeks green, 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 and then it pukes back for few weeks. And then it decides the next path. Now, this structure, this is a much bigger structure than all of these structures, which matches this big structure. Okay. So this is the time it ran continuously for that long. And this is almost the same length. And then, it pulled back for a few weeks. And this will also, though this is a big green, a big red structure, this also was like that. So, it's possible that it may try and break down and test a little bit over. Now, I had 193 to 197 as the target, at least for the quarter, and it did that, and happily earning triggered it downwards. Now, 183 was that one number I was tracking from a very long time, since 2 years ago. Apple did not hit. All the indices hit their offset numbers and triggered a higher cycle. All other stocks hit their offsets and triggered a higher cycle. Apple was the only one did not trigger, but 2022, the whole market fell down. So that was a mystery in my head. Why did Apple left 7 cents on the table? It hit 182.97 or something, 94, I think. And it did not hit 184.94, 182.94, and it did not hit that 183 and 1 cent to fire its future cycle, and it pulled back. And I was like, why would it do that? But it came back after 1.5 years exactly, 360 plus 180. So, 360, 1 year, 186 months, and it came back. And so it represents two things for me. All other things have reset the cycle, and then they pulled back. Apple had not done that. Apple did it now when market was in the retest of the high. Does it mean that it is a bullish cycle which has started and Apple will continue higher along with the rest of the market for the higher targets? That is one sane explanation, which means that 360 plus 180 for me is a 9. So is it a starting of a new journey instead of completion of a new journey? So that's what I am thinking about it. There has to be a reason why Apple did the way it did the things, why market reversed from where it reversed. And if that is the case, then we should see market going higher. If that indication is a start of a new journey for just the way Apple acted, that's all. We will see, though, of course. So we talked about that. Apple, yes, 183 was the number I was tracking. 169 is its previous cycle targets. And so between 169 to 183, it can test and release some pressure. And if that holds and everything else is all good, then it should continue higher. But it's right at support here. So probably it may go and test back that 185 to 190 zone, and then we see if it wants to fail. So a daily would form an ABC and want to come down and test below around 177, 175 towards 173, 169. If that is the case, then, those would be okay points to go long with, of course, your risk defined. And then to see whether, it has any interest in breaking the previous cycle targets. Previous cycle, those were the targets basically. So if it wants to break down the previous cycle, if that is the case, then we will see something lower. But as of now, I'm just going with the good explanation, why Apple did the way it did. Tesla, again, Tesla happily came back here. 289 was the area I was saying, and during earnings time also said 257 to 289. That's its sweet spot in terms of the cycle. So watch for it to fail 289 and then hold 257. It held 257 for some time and currently closed below it. Now goes back up again, then it'll retrace up. But below that, expect some weakness coming towards early 200. And then this structure holds, it could go back to its IR cycle. I had marked 400 or something here. I don't know why, but probably that must be some target for it. So it is there. The other thing is, this was its previous cycle target 901. This is, of course, after the split, but this does before the split, this does represent 901, and it reset the cycle for Tesla 2917, approximately 3000. So if that is the case, and then it went up and did 1200, 1250, I think, and then it puked back from there. So if that is the case, then I'll have to calculate back its cycle in with the split price. So maybe it could put us back to 900 and 1200 if that comes back to it, because NVDA did the same thing. It had the cycle target of 289 to something, and then it went much higher, then it got split, and then it came back. So that 289 is some magical number for it, that it always comes back to it, even after a much higher cycle, then a split happens, and then the number confluence happens around that. So if it's same thing is happening with Tesla, meaning the new cycle targets is also around 900, 900-ish, then that's where the calculation will come for it. The future cycle target would align with those. So I guess the algos don't do things randomly at all. So that is the case. MSFT. MSFT also went, kind of broke out, but July closed below the previous all-time high, and now it's retesting. So 315, 300, early 293 or something, or 290, this zone holds, then we can expect a retest of the high back. But more sideways can help, of course, instead of, it has formed some good demand structures as it went up. So So that is there. So look for it. Who is next? These three are the good NQ and NASDAQ holders. VIX, actually. VIX. So I had mentioned early on, I think VIX thread is occasionally I do update it, but months ago I had said, I think last year only I had said that if that 34, 37, whatever was the high around here, if this is not taken out, are we going back to, 12 and 13? And it happened that way. We came back all the way to 13. It did poke under 13, and from there it is bouncing back. So this zone has been a good demand for it and the support structure for a very long time. So, I had told my followers who, generally are with me to, buy VIX around. If it comes down there, then start accumulating VIX for that, for a bounce at least. And we got approximately 4 or 5 points bounce since then. So that's a good thing. So as of now, VIX is a good indicator of, that it's doing good, and it could go to 2021 easily, if not 25. So these two blue lines, it can go and hit as the indices are trying to test lower. That's what it could do. Your crude oil is, about to break out. So your 77 is a good marker. So I had said, if this ABC, this was a clear failure. This is a very nice clean ABC. It fell, came over here, it tested its breakout. So its breakout was around 59 to 62. It did that. The low was around 63, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 63 something. And from there, it is reversing. 77 is an important number for it as of now to hold. As long as it is holding that, it is bullish for it. And once, it could test easily 94, 95 or higher, maybe almost 100. And this 130.5 has still not been tested, which means the high oil has not gone anywhere. It is going to come back and bite. There is California $7, $10 oil would be there. So as you know, if Musk can reduce the price for the Tesla, it would be good for everyone, I guess. So that is there. Gold. Let's see gold here. So this gold is also not doing much, sideways for a lot of months. This high was made in August 20. August 20, we are again in August, and this was March 2022. This was May 2022. Okay. August, and this is March. August to August, April, May. Okay. So if, and then it took this many months to again hit the high. So 2100 is resisting, and it takes quite a few of months for it to go back up and do that. So the question is fourth time a charm, somewhere around in 24? If this distance is an indication and it forms the similar distance, then, somewhere in 2024, does gold break out? Okay, it can do earlier as well, but just going from this, does it do that? As long as gold is staying above this previous high here, it is still bullish, or rather, it is getting picked up. Once it goes below here, then you have some weakness setting in, coming down. And this area has been, so this whole structure has been tested, and it is still testing, sitting above it, still testing. So this whole box, this right from here to here, it is sitting tight on it. So will its next step be to break out towards, I think I had a target of 3,700. So will it do that, 2,500, 2,700, and then go from there? Anything breaking below here, we know that clean structure, gold has a very clean structure actually. So if it tries to break down, then we will see here, but as long as it's holding these zones, the expectation is to move up. KRE. So KRE is much lagging. See the monthly chart, it consolidated somewhere and it fell back. So a good chance for it to test would be, 50 to 57. So it has something to go up. So it looks like your banks may be okay, going up to test over it. XRT, your retail. Okay, your retail is lagging a lot and it is formed a good structure here. So, if it breaks out, it will have a good structure to fall back. So in my opinion, your retail can break out, which means what? People are going to go crazy and shop in the holiday season and buy all the malls, probably. If that's the case, then we will see good 75 to 86, 87, the just below this head, this box basically. So look out for it. If your XRT is doing it, then, XLY is the consumer discretionary. So currently it is around the lower of the structure. So, watch if it wants to go over this. So the consumer, those two should probably go hand in hand, XLY and your XRT. XLY should, it's a consumer discretionary. So maybe some more is there. I know Amazon is in there. So, and a lot of people shop in Amazon. That's why I'm trying to relate both of them. So this there. And another important to see is here, IYT. IYT, same thing. It tested this zone completely, the all-time zone. And if it holds this structure, then chances are that this may also break out. So other option is for failure. But if your ATL and everything else is good, IYT may be okay because it's transportation. Now, if the transportation is doing good, overall, all other industries generally do good, because if you are making something, if you're manufacturing something, you need the transportation to transport it. The moving structure, your should be there in place in order to get your industries going. Now, other thing to that is your oil. The oil has a higher price. If the oil is at a higher price, then things can get costly. Then if things are getting costly, then it may be costly for the industries to manufacture things. And if that is the case, then the downside is it may slow down may slow down the industries in terms of, getting their orders out. And so the demand supply structure comes in between in terms of the industry language. So watch for these two things. If oil is going much higher, then how does your transportation react to it? And what are the different major industries trying to say? Are they decreasing the demands, or are they saying that, we're going to lower the guidance because whatever reason? So your semiconductor industry, your other industry, which, move basically. So those could be a good way to keep an eye on what's happening around those. So these two will go hand in hand. If IYT wants to break out, then your oil can cap around 87 to 95, what we saw around 100, and from there it can come down, and the rest of the stuff could be okay. But right now the pressure must be coming from, because your oil is also going higher and your treasury is also above 4. This is a breakout point actually, or at least, yeah. So this, why did I draw a line here? Yes. So see, this is your breakout point. This is exactly at your, start of the base. So it's very important to see how this is behaving. If we go anywhere above this and settle here, that means there's a general, it will add pressure in the markets. So TNX, your treasuries, your oil, your gold, and what your IYT, your transportation is doing. The combination of all these things will give an idea of how things are happening. Your semiconductor industry is the biggest because everything uses semiconductor. Even, I don't know, from children's toys to your fridge to everything in your kitchen to your cars to God knows what, aeroplanes, everything uses that. Maybe the human body is using that as well, or maybe start using it. So that was a joke though, but yeah, it's a possibility. So look out for that. Yes, that's hence the reason I'm saying your NVIDIA leaded the run and it bottomed the tech and everything else followed. So look at it. If that is the case, then ideally that should be the leader in the reverse side as well. So that 441 to 485 zone, then 485 to 529. Just keep that in your watch. It will give you a good indication of why of how things would unfold. Now, one thing more we will look before we wrap up is your BTC. Let me go here. So your BTC is also, you know, uh, this. So here it is, consolidating between these two orange lines. So as long as it's above here, it is bullish towards here. Below here, it is still within this sideways zone. Only below there will be some weakness. Now, if this were to replicate XPX, we come back to that same question which I asked. Why did XPX ran the way it did? And I gave an example of the lion. Exactly the same thing here. It is going sideways, developing a structure. Now, two ways for it to go again, exactly like XPX, up, sideways, up, sideways, up, sideways, up, sideways, up, sideways, and it will take quite a lot of time to go up. But if it sees a lion on this side, because we have a lion here, and it gets afraid and it wants to run for its life, you will see 40 to 50,000, the upper base is 40, 41, 44, 53, 50. So, it can come fast. If you see a lion, then you can see that those numbers fast. So keep an eye on your BTC, keep an eye on your most active BTC stocks like your Riot, your Mara, your Beto, ETF, MSTR, a few others. So post on my feed, what are the other good BTC stocks which are good, called not crap stuff, but good ones, which and all which also moves well, like my Riot and Mara, and I can go and check those and see that. So this wraps up our discussion about the indices and other market structures, including the Bitcoin, including the cryptos. So that's about it, I think. One of the things is, yes, it takes a lot of hard work to do all this and put stuff out there and post stuff. It takes me away from my trading in order to post stuff. So if you guys watch these things or watch my tweets or look at it, one of the things is please like and retweet it. And if you like my work, then definitely, like it, retweet it. And also, once I post this video, post your comments, did it help you? What did you learn from it? How was it? And all those things. It motivates me. It also makes me happy that, okay, somebody looked at it and there is a reaction to it. So, just about it. So have a nice weekend. I think the market has opened, at least the futures have opened, and see you guys tomorrow, Monday, and we'll go from there. Okay. So have a good rest of the Sunday.